Hey everybody, Sir Owen Disney here, and we are live after the kind of lopsided Money in the Bank pay-per-view event. And I'm not joined by Ashley. Ashley is actually covering E3 right now, and his videos for his Sticks and Flicks segments on the SNS Radio Network, they're going to be coming very soon. And once those come out, I'll send you guys links via Twitter if you want to check those out. You notice Gaming with Ash wasn't on Saturday, but no worries because he will be returning sooner rather than later. But I'm not alone. Oh no, I'm joined once more by Mr. Entertainment. Welcome, Aaron, for the second day in a row.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. Although I think I would have been better off missing the first half of Money in the Bank. But, that's why I'm here to discuss it with you.
Yeah, you did catch the entire event, correct?
Yes, I was just being sarcastic of missing the first half.
I kind of wish I would have, honestly.
Yeah.
I know I called this like 3 years ago. I said that there was going to be a pay-per-view that's going to come to Columbus. And everyone knows it's 2 hours away from me. And when it comes down to it, it is the place that this channel started. So it'd make perfect sense I would be in attendance. And I tried every possible way to get there, and it just didn't work out. I hope next time WWE comes to Columbus, I am in attendance, and I will do everything in my power to make that happen.
Yeah, just, enter those contests and save up. That's what you got to do nowadays.
Well, no, the problem with the contest was they actually offered a contest that actually was quite good if you live in town.
Right. Because
it was basically on Ohio State campus, and you could find the tickets in, like, the middle of the campus, and that was the only way you could find it.
I'm not a fan of those contests.
Me being 2 hours away, that was impossible, so... Yeah. I much rather prefer the Full Sail University contest. Like, hey, Owen, we got one ticket left. If you want it, I like that much better.
Yeah, well, that was actually just a plain giveaway. If it was a contest, it'd be like, kind of like Full Sail, like, you were saying, retweet to win tickets. They could have done something like that.
Yeah, I wish they would have. Maybe next time. But I'll tell you right now, I made a mistake last time. I'm not going to make that mistake again.
Yeah.
I had a very big clerical error when it comes to trying to get tickets this time. I won't make that mistake twice. So before we get started, obviously, a very controversial week here on Pop, because the edition of AJ's movie reviews that came out on Friday is not very favorable, to say the least. AJ did not really like Jurassic World, and I think the entire world are disagreeing with him, as I've noticed in the likes and dislikes count on the video.
The entire world, Jurassic World?
Okay. Yeah, the entire Jurassic World. And also, given the fact that we had a versus with Star Wars versus Star Trek, we kind of took a gamble there. So it's been a very controversial week on Pop. Now, if you watch the versus video, you will see in the description bar that I dedicated that video to the memory of the late, great Christopher Lee. It made perfect sense that I would do so. I'm going to do the same thing tonight. I'm going to dedicate this and tomorrow's Raw Popcast to the memory of Virgil Runnels, and that would be the late, great American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
Very appropriate.
Yeah. He very influential in both in the ring and outside the ring, a very influential booker, matchmaker, whatever you want to call it, depending on who's watching this video. Dusty is definitely somebody that had a big impact in all the companies that he was a part of. NWA World Heavyweight Champion. He revolutionized wrestling in the state of Florida. And he actually has another quite infamous ideal that he had a finish named after him called the Dusty Finish. And quite perfectly set tonight, it actually happened yet again.
Yeah, He was a a huge impactful force, and I think he's one of the co-founding fathers of professional wrestling what it is today.
He's had some great stuff. Obviously, he worked as the son of a plumber man, and he was in Polka Dots when he was in the WWF. Had that awesome feud with the Macho King Randy Savage, which I'm pretty positive right now is going on somewhere up there right now as we speak, as it should. And he had a great run in WCW as a commentator, joined the New World Order. He did a run in ECW where he worked with Steve Corino. He was in TNA for a time being. He worked the indie circuit pretty much all the way up until the mid-2000s. And then when he came back to WWE, he was a driving force in the back for the impact that NXT would make.
I think he's one of the reasons also that not only did he revolutionize wrestling in Florida as we know it, but a big part of possibly establishing the foundation of the WWE Performance Center and housing NXT in Florida.
And I love the feud that him and Dustin and Cody had with the Shield, and the fact that, at least on WWE television and probably overall, Dean Ambrose was the last person ever to take a bionic elbow from Dusty. So, great video package tonight. Very well done. The show starts out with everybody on top of the ramp. Faces and heels doesn't matter. Everybody paying tribute to the late, great Virgil Reynolds Jr. So, yes, I definitely wanted to mention that. Our thoughts and prayers here on Pop go out to the family, the Reynolds family, obviously going out to Dustin and Cody, and the family and their friends in this time. And definitely we wanted to start off this podcast by saying big Dustus for you.
Absolutely, and happy trails as well. I almost shed a tear at that video package, and I think Renee Young did too. And she's a real trooper because she was continuing the kickoff show while she was emotional, and nobody can do that, I guess, but her. That shows that how talented she can withstand as an announcer. But when they put the camera back on her, she was crying, and I think Booker T and Byron Saxton and Corey Graves were all crying because at one point, of how, like you said before, how influential Dusty Rhodes was.
Yeah, of course.
I'm very much looking forward to watching the Celebrating the Dream. I read online that it's going to be very much similar to the Ultimate Warrior documentary, and they've interviewed with personalities like Ric Flair. I assume, and I would hope Paul Heyman is part of that interview if he's
I'd say so.
If he's comfortable talking about it.
Yeah.
He seemed very unsettled with his series of tweets, which were very lovely, but he did seem unsettled. It hit him home.
Oh yeah.
And also, obviously it's amazing when we get to celebrate the lives and the careers of these legends. But if we think back to how many of the all-time greats have we lost in the past 2 years or so? The Macho Man Randy Savage, the Ultimate Warrior, and now the American Dream Dusty Rhodes. It's kind of scary. So I really hope this trend does not obviously continue. Because these are the all-time greats of professional wrestling that we have lost, and we will remember forever.
Well, it's bad. It's a good testament to how someone has changed their life around. Because if you would have asked me maybe 5 years ago, I probably would have put Jake Roberts in that list. And now he seemed like he's turned his life around and he's got a new lease on life again, which is a great thing for him.
Absolutely.
And I know Scott Hall is getting some help right now too.
Absolutely. I was going to say the same thing for Scott Hall. I bet he was on the list for a lot of people, And, every time he messes up now, and same thing with Jake the Snake, but Scott Hall messes up a little bit more than Jake the Snake.
Yes.
They mess up. They both get help on their own. And that's really good to have that self-discipline to do that.
Yeah, I just wanted to, before we get into anything about Money in the Bank or any of our thoughts, I definitely wanted to say these words about Dusty before we get started. I thought it was the right thing to do 100%. And it needs to be said. It really does. It sucks when this stuff happens, but obviously I guess the line would be he's in a better place now, and his legacy will live on without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
So we transition that, unfortunately, to talking about Wade Barrett and R-Truth.
that is, I don't know if that's the best or worst segue. Unfortunately, we lost American Dream Dusty Rhodes, but unfortunately, we didn't have a really good.
No, it's just unfortunately, we have to talk about the pay-per-view,
Yes.
The first half of the pay-per-view, which was kind of lackluster compared to what it could be.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'd much rather just sit here and talk Dusty for the rest of the night, but unfortunately, we gotta a job to do here. So let's talk about Money in the Bank.
Yeah, him and Kevin Owens and John Cena. We're gonna get into it, but yeah, no, those definitely two things. We would, in reality, love to talk hours for. So, but yeah,
yes.
Let's get into the Money in the Bank ladder match, which a lot of people thought was a little too early.
But before we go into that, we're going to talk about King Barrett against R-Truth.
Oh, okay.
Truth comes out. He basically says that dressing up is fun and being a king feels good. You can cast me in Game of the Thrones, and I'm going to be your king. What's up? Wade Barrett comes out. He's dressed like he came out of Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
My dad would get that reference, and I would too. I saw the musical Spamalot. He if the Columbus, Ohio crowd was smart, they would turn and change the chant from "You look stupid" from Sheamus to Wade Barrett. He looked stupid. This gimmick is not working for him. It is not enhancing his career whatsoever. We know whose career enhanced tonight at Money in the Bank.
Well, here's the problem, though, with Wade Barrett, though. He's kind of stuck. Because since winning the King of the Ring, I think he may have won a handful of matches, if that.
I think he's in a worse position than Rusev and Bray Wyatt ever were in. Because
now I'd say so.
Yeah, well, because anyone who wins anyone who wins King of the Ring, I think that tournament has really lost its meaning.
Mm-hmm.
This year, it was one of the best tournaments they've had in a very long time. But the term and the name with anyone's gimmick, it does not match up with their name or their style. And I think King of the Ring really kills superstars' gimmicks. I think they need to drop it.
Well, the Bad News Barrett gimmick was getting over like gangbusters. Instead of turning him babyface, they decided they just wanted to get rid of the gimmick and start fresh with him. Barrett's had so many reset buttons hit, it's not even funny.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, that they should have kept him Bad News Barrett. It's just really, it's the wrong direction Barrett needs to not be in. Maybe on SmackDown, maybe that should have been the end of his reign. Hey, R-Truth took the Kane attire. It actually looked better on him than whatever Wade Barrett had on tonight. I think if he paid for that to be made in Britain, he should get his money back because that looked god awful.
I did like the Doug Williams style like Union Jack gear he was wearing underneath it though. That looked really cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it was an eyesore, I think is the best way to put it. Like, when you first came out, you weren't expecting it. So yeah, it was an unexpected moment, but it was just an eyesore as, you go from, King, what's up, which possibly could really go over with the fans. So maybe, I don't know, there could be something brewing with R-Truth as of late, putting him in these circumstances we usually never see him in, like the Elimination Chamber. Not the Money in the Bank ladder match, but he was still on the Money in the Bank card. But I don't know. There could be something brewing for R-Truth. We don't know.
Hey, at this point, I think it's a little too late because Truth has been stopped so many times. There's really no reason to do anything now. Like, his reaction is basically from his entrance, and other than that, he really doesn't get a favorable reaction until he yells at the crowd because they have to yell back at him.
The only company that gave him a chance was TNA.
TNA, absolutely. NWA World Heavyweight Champion Ron the Truth Killings, thank you.
If he ever wins gold in WWE, I guess with that reference to TNA, I'll be surprised.
Honestly, it's a possibility that is correct.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the match real quick. It's short, straight, and to the point. The Bullhammer's ducked. He goes for the O'Connor roll, and Barrett holds on. He goes for the Bullhammer. Truth ducks it, and Truth ends up rolling him up into a crucifix and gets the 3 count. So match over. Barrett loses again. Like I should have known that it was going to happen that way.
Surprise victory. To me, it was.
It was unwarranted, though, because they really haven't done anything with Wade Barrett in a long time. So I really wish that they would do something with him. I wanted him to win the money. I really wanted him to win Money in the Bank back when he had his injury, and it looked like he was going to win. But he had that fluke injury, and that's the reason why he pretty much lost his push.
Yeah, but I mean, well, I don't know. Maybe because I've never been in the business. I guess I
Mm.
wouldn't understand. But I don't think it's how would I put it? I mean, there's a way to kind of keep the push going. I mean, if you're out by injury, that's not by choice. You're out by injury. But to kind of reset, and you said yourself, he's been well, no, not that was our truth, but I guess Rick Barrett's been reset a couple times.
Well, the problem with Wade Barrett is I think that he's got this stigma with him right now that he's snake bitten. And that's a term that is used a lot. Like Fandango is basically snake bitten now. It's people that are kind of injury prone that you really can't depend on because you never know if they're going to be on the shelf. It's nothing against them. It's their body. It's just how it works sometimes.
Then I guess send them to NXT.
Oh, I had no problems with that.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Wade Barrett against Finn Balor. That match would be awesome.
Yeah, because on a side note, aside from my bank, discussion of our topic tonight, NXT seems to now be the relaunch of careers of people that have been WWE for a long time, the launch of new WWE superstars, and the relaunch of current WWE superstars like Zack Ryder.
I really don't like Mojo Rawley at all, but I think that Zack Ryder has got a rejuvenation, and you can tell he is a lot more comfortable in NXT than he was in WWE the last several years.
I wasn't sure about it either, but it seems like, they have chemistry, but, you do have to turn down the TV volume because, man, does Mojo Rawley ever stop yelling? Every interview, it's the funniest thing. Like every interview before I watch it on YouTube on my Xbox, I'm just like, oh, gotta turn down TV because he's just like, I'm so hyped. You hyped? Come on, Zach.
No, I'm not hyped for you at all. I never have been. And if you look at the crowd response he got over the weekend in the house shows in Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Columbus, Mojo got booed. Zack Ryder got cheered in the matches that they had worked with the Vaudevillains and also with Blake and Murphy. So the fans are not buying Mojo at all.
I did not see that. Well, maybe Mojo Rawley, and if the officials are taking note of that, I'm not going into too much about this. Maybe he will get a new look. Kind of like Becky, even though Becky Lynch didn't need a new look, I think, but, kind of like her.
I'll pull him off television for a year and let his hair grow back. That's the only way you're going to get a new look. Basically, this segment ends with R-Truth putting the crown on backwards. And when Barrett confronts him about it, he basically tosses the crown and runs away.
Because you're king of the ring if you put on the crown backwards.
God. Hey, Rick Steiner wore his tag team title upside down, so anything's possible.
Oh.
It's true.
I don't remember that. Maybe I wasn't watching wrestling back then, but that's funny.
So we get our Money in the Bank ladder match. It is Adrian Neville, Kane, Randy Orton, Sheamus, Dolph Ziggler, Kofi Kingston, and yes, the golden boy himself, Aquaman, Roman Reigns.
Put him up. I know I can take you all on.
Okay. This is how the show started. This is one of those matches that I thought actually could have got a little bit more time, honestly. It felt like it was a little shorter than I thought it was going to be.
It did feel like it was shorter. I liked how the entrances were quick, and we went right into the match. But I gotta just throw in the towel early, even though we haven't even started discussing about what happened in the match. But this was the lamest, most uneventful Money in the Bank ladder match I can remember.
Well, you can honestly tell that in most cases they were not taking as many chances, which is a good thing in the long run.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But it's not going to endure a crowd to you.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
Maybe the crowd at the Nationwide Arena was very, pumped tonight for every match. It sounded like. But, for the viewers at home, and watching this stream, I think would agree. Twitter kind of went through a mini explosion, especially with the outcome of this Money in the Bank ladder match. But with the match overall, how it was just, everyone seemed to be a little too careful. If everyone is a little too careful of Money in the Bank ladder match, and this is how it is next year, then it's time to really drop the concept because, it really has lost its excitement after tonight.
It's honestly better be safe than sorry, though. Would you rather them be careful and have about 5 more years in their career, or would you rather them not be careful, I'll break out all the stops and only get like 2 years out of a career?
Well, I would like to see, just a little fast forward. I would just like to see what happened in the Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose match in a Money in the Bank ladder match. Just know the fact that this was the only Money in the Bank ladder match we were going to get this year, and I just didn't think it lived up to the hype. It did not live up to the title of the pay-per-view Money in the Bank.
I would have liked it. Obviously, there was no way to do it. I mean, there actually was a way to do it, really. They could have done a Money in the Bank ladder match for NXT, but I don't think that it's time yet. I think it's almost time. I think next year is a good way to do that because NXT will be built up even more so by then because WWE wants them to tour. And once they're touring, I think that they're going to be built up enough to have a Money in the Bank ladder match, a briefcase for NXT. And I think that would be awesome to see maybe somebody try to cash in on a Raw or SmackDown on the NXT champion while he's there.
Yeah, no, it would be like, kind of like it's already kind of like ECW invading a little almost, just like the main star with Kevin Owens invading WWE programming and, how NXT TakeOver promotes their shows with WWE television now, which is great because that's mainstream. That's off the WWE network, basically, whenever these stars debut. It's a little too soon for that to happen. But I'm not being biased. This is just my honest opinion. If we had a similar type of match concept dealing with ladders with multiple competitors in NXT, it'd be a much more exciting match.
I would say so. Let's talk about a couple of the big high points of the match. So Dolph goes to grab the briefcase while him and Sheamus are trading shots on top, and Sheamus ends up going for white noise. Dolph counters with a sleeper hold, and it turns into a zigzag off the ladder. Neville hits the red arrow on Sheamus, which everybody thought they would be off the top of the ladder, but they didn't go with that spot.
They did that spot on SmackDown. They gave it away.
That was a huge mistake, because I know a lot of people that don't even watch SmackDown.
Yeah, very huge mistake, and I think I saw that in a YouTube clip because I did not watch SmackDown this week. Obviously you may be one of those fans that doesn't watch SmackDown at all, and I believe you. But it's wrestling to me, so I watch it every week. This week, there's some weeks I just don't feel like watching it, even if Neville's on the show or Paige is on the show, Kevin Owens, whatnot. But yeah, they did that spot, huge mistake, and it's going to be interesting to see what kind of spots you pick down in the match because I really just don't remember any big spots in the match.
Oh, we're on from this moment forward. So yeah. Dolph and Neville both trade punches up at the top of the ladder. Dolph knocked off the ladder. Kane pulls Neville off, chokeslam a stop by a Dolph super kick. Dolph and Neville get the ladder, and they're trying to run over Kane. And, of course, Kane turns that against them. And Kane baseball slide drop kicks the ladder into them. Roman Reigns comes in after basically doing mostly nothing in the match at the beginning. He did one thing. He powerbombed Kofi on top of the ladder set up in the corner, and then he powerbombed Neville on top of Kofi. That's pretty much what he did in the beginning of the match.
And that got a couple loud cheers. That kind of showed him for a very brief moment. He was very dominant.
I'll tell you right now, I know for a fact in Columbus, Roman Reigns is over.
Oh, yeah. No, that spot was very nice. I liked it.
So Roman comes in, it's a Superman punch on Kane. He dives on everybody. Big E and Xavier Woods come out, and they roll Kofi in. They slide the ladder in. They try to set up the ladder, and the New Day guard the entranceway. Kofi's climbing up, and Roman drop kicks both of them. Kofi climbs up, Roman pulls him off, and basically Roman powerbombs Kofi on everyone except for Randy Orton, who goes for the RKO, gets countered to the Superman punch, which ducked, and the spear to Orton. Roman climbs up, and thank you, Wyatt. Bray Wyatt shows up when the lights come back on, and he shoves the ladder over Sister Abigail to Roman Reigns, and there's only one person left standing, and it's Sheamus. He climbs up the ladder. Here comes Neville. He climbs up the ladder, and Sheamus shoves him off. He grabs the briefcase, and Sheamus won Money in the Bank. Okay. Well, if Sheamus was a babyface, I can understand this because this is building more hype for Turtles.
Yeah, it's just...
But Sheamus seems like he's in the feud that never ends with Randy Orton, which doesn't factor into the world title picture right now at all. And with winning the case, he's basically at least inserted him for a time being in the world title picture. Whether I think he cashes in successfully or not is anyone's guess, but I'm not sure at this point. What I talked about last night may happen tonight on Raw. Who knows?
Yeah,
but
he's gonna cash in successfully. You know, if you
maybe.
know, this is, well, you know, I mean, that's just what it looks like. I mean, you know, only 2 of the past 15 winners, so 13 cashed in and won the world championship, and only 2 were unsuccessful. So you know, the officials are high on Sheamus. So if they gave him the briefcase, it's safe to say he'll be world champion.
I don't know at this point, honestly.
I mean, you know, it's you know, obviously it's way too early to call it, but I just think like that's what's going to happen. You know, obviously, good luck to him if he thinks he can beat Brock Lesnar. If we fast forward a couple months, if Brock Lesnar becomes the champion once again.
See, that makes sense now, because if that's the case, Sheamus said straight up he wants to fight Lesnar. So I mean,
that's the idea. So,
but I don't know. I think Sheamus is taking a backseat for a while. He's not cashing in for a bit. It's gonna suck to see him with the briefcase, but I mean that's how it works with the Money in the Bank briefcase sometimes.
Yeah. Of course not. He's not going to you know, cash in for a long time. Seth Rollins, wasn't he one of the longest not to cash in?
Maybe it was like 9 months, maybe.
Yeah, no, it was too long. But you know, Sheamus, you know, I'm just gonna go on a limb and say he cashes in at Survivor Series. You know, give us something to talk about at Survivor Series, because the last couple of years of Survivor Series they've been bad.
I think you went a little too far, because honestly, if you really think about it, Survivor Series is not as big as it used to be.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, so you know, maybe at that event. So that's just a wild guess. That's going out on the limb.
I wouldn't even be surprised if he. I mean, it'd be great if he would cash in like tonight on Raw, but that's not going to happen. Not with a heel champion. But we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah, that has happened for a long time too. But you never know in the professional wrestling world. Never say never. No,
not at all. We get a promo in the back from Paige. She said the 7-year reign of terror of the Bellas ends tonight.
Her promos have been
AJ?
Yeah, no, she was talking a little too much about change tonight, but her promos have been like I don't know. They just been a little. They've been a little off for me, and it looks like she's applied too much makeup on her face.
They're turning her into AJ. Seriously, they really are. That's the point here.
Well, you know, AJ and Paige had something going on.
Yeah.
You know, with Freaks and Geeks type of movement.
And she still skips to the ring too.
Oh, yeah, she does. She does. I liked the nod to Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah, that was nice. I really appreciated the fact that she basically said she will create that change for you, Dusty. So.
Yeah.
Then we get our Divas title match. Nikki Bella defending against Paige. They're mentioning the 203 days that Nikki's been champion. Yeah. AJ was champion for 295 days. So if you think it's going to end anytime soon, you're crazy.
I don't care if I'm crazy. It should end a long time ago. I mean, I just, you know, before we get into this match, you know, I think, you know, with Nikki Bella literally leading the locker room, and some people giving her credit and some people are not, and you know, she just doesn't have the package. I mean, you know, she's not good in the ring. She doesn't have the look, and I can't wait to talk about when we progress in discussing this match alone, because it's just a headache. You know, the Bella Twins alone is a headache in the Divas division.
Well, Ashley's not here to bring this up, so I'll basically bring this up. Yeah. They're heels.
Yeah, and yeah, they're back to being heels, and you know how Naomi and Tamina have just, I guess, basically fell off the face of the earth. You know, it's just the Divas division, I think, will be much better and improve, and it has improved a little bit, but not by a large margin. And the reason why I say that is because it will improve little by little. the more NXT talent you will call up to the roster. When Charlotte comes into the picture, and when Sasha Banks comes into the picture, it's on.
I don't want the Divas taken away from NXT because I want those matches still.
I know, but it has to happen. It really should happen.
No, it doesn't. Like I said before, you don't even need to take. You don't need a Divas division at all. Just do a women's division in NXT and give them an extra hour.
Yeah, no, yeah, you could go that route. And you know, I've been giving these Divas matches chances. You know, I've been not timing them anymore. Sat through them. But this was just unbearable to sit through, especially the last few minutes of the match. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, at least during the last few minutes of the match, we truly found out who's the fake and real Bella.
AJ didn't do it, and everybody thought there was a possibility that she would. I think Paige is the one who does it. I think once Nikki Bella is toppled, the entire Divas locker room will come out and hoist Paige on their shoulders to create change. And they're going to destroy the butterfly belt and bring back the WWE Women's Championship.
And that would make sense.
And it does make sense from that storyline perspective. It makes perfect sense.
Right. And that would be if it happens this year, oh my God, we need it more than ever. I mean, if not NXT being called up, we need it more now than ever for that better butterfly belt to, you know, just be trashed.
You have to solidify Paige as the true baby face in the storyline. And WWE doesn't want that, but that's what she has to be.
Yes. Like, you know, where's Medusa when you need her to trash a belt? But
that's why she will be used in this. You'll see Medusa, you'll see Lita, and you'll see Trish Stratus, and they're all going to give Paige advice.
Yeah. You know, I would love to see that happen. And that would be a historic moment if it happens this year or next year.
It writes itself. It really does.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about this.
Oh, we're actually going to talk about the match.
Yeah. So, I'm basically just going to call like a couple of the good stuff here. Nikki's slingshot suplex looks nice. Gets a near fall off that one. Her body scissors, and she presses up. Paige bridges back for a 1 count. She's still doing those push-ups when she in the middle of the match. That's a real babyface tactic to use. I do like her counter though, because when Paige was hitting the headbutts and she draped her across the ropes and hit her knee strikes, when Paige tried to get back in the ring, Nikki caught her with a chin breaker. I like that. That worked really well for me. And Paige's modified STF, I thought that was working. And then she went for the PTO and got caught with a spine buster with a 2. And then I'm telling you, I like the Matt Morgan elbows because I like that every single time. The running knee, and it's like, sell, Nikki, sell. And it's like, nope, I'm going to smile for some reason. Don't know why. Hits the Alabama slam for a near fall, and the PTO, Nikki counters. She hits the disaster kick and gets a near fall there. Rack attacks escaped, Rampage, and the crowd goes crazy because the near fall happens. So they both get on the top turnbuckle. They knock each other off. Paige gets up. Both are on the ropes and knocked to the floor. Nikki rolls under the ring. Brie rolls back out, of course. We got a little twin magic. And Paige gets caught in a small package, which is reversed into a small package from Brie Nikki. And she gets a 3 count on Brie Nikki. So we have a brand new Divas champion. Of course, how appropriate. This is a dusty finish. And this is not the finish of the match, as it shouldn't be. The referee basically gets ready to raise Paige's hand as the new Divas champion. Brie takes out the stuffing in her bra, straightens her pants, showing her, like, I don't care, I'm a guy, showing her sexy pelvic tattoo, so proving that she's not Nikki. So basically the referee doesn't call it disqualification, mind you, even though the announce team actually said that there should have been a DQ, even though there wasn't one. Nikki allows to get back in the ring. Paige is distraction. She channels her inner Lex Luger with the forearm, and Rack Attack ends the match. Nikki retains.
Rack Attack. That just explains how fake Nikki is. But
shock treatment.
Yes, shock treatment, exactly. And you know, although it was like, it wasn't even anyone who says it was a shocking finish is delusional. This was the probably most predictable finish of the night.
Why is Brie not at ringside? Why is she not with the Divas while they're watching the match? Gee, I wonder, she's probably under the ring.
Yeah. Like even the commentators did a bad job of hiding the fact that this is supposed to be not predictable. But in WWE, everything's predictable.
I don't know when Nikki became Lex Luger, but that running forearm she's using now.
I don't know either, but it's just I was kind of shocked how much Brie was like proving that she wasn't Nikki. I'm like, is she gonna strip down for us or something? What is this? Like, she's doing a little too much, but
that like I said, I'm a man. I thought that was sexy, but she was trying to prove her point that she wasn't her sister, even though she was trying to be.
Yeah, hey, you got you got to tell the unoriginal story, but yeah, you got to tell the story. It was hot. She's the natural regular sister.
Yeah, exactly.
She's the real one.
Excuse me.
But obviously, yeah, it was. I never heard the term of Dusty Finish. That's a very humorous way to pay tribute to Dusty Rhodes. But yeah, it was a Dusty Finish. I think that's the best way to put it. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to describe it.
That's the same way that what happened with Ambrose and Rollins at Payback. That was a Dusty Finish too.
Yeah.
And I know this is a dirty word to say, especially on live internet radio, but when it comes down to it, the Chris Benoit Rock match where Benoit won the world championship and they turned the decision around, that's a Dusty Finish too. So
yeah, no, it was that, and I should have taken a picture of Paige, tearing up after the match when bells were on the stage, because that's how I felt. I was just like, why the Stevens division? Why?
And I understand that you got people in your headset. I understand people are telling you sometimes what to say. And from what Mick Foley said in his book, they're saying it at a very loud decibel volume. But Jerry Lawler, even I understand that you have to say what you're told to say, but I'm sure Jerry had to be sick to his stomach to say that the forearm was a real bionic elbow. Yeah. Bionic elbow by in the way of Steve Austin, the $6 million man, maybe, but not bionic elbow as in Dusty Rhodes.
No, not even close. And Vince McMahon was probably like, say it, bionic elbow.
We're gonna put her over like she's Colossus from the X-Men.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
No. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I don't like it, but that's just my opinion. I can't wait for the NXT people to be called up for the women's division. But if, Vince McMahon's very high on Lana, I can't wait for the switch for Lana. So that way she'd be, she could become the next future.
She will. She 100% will. But the thing about it is you have to, number one, have her come to ringside first.
Yes, and we all know it's going to take a long time. We waited a long time, probably 2 years to be exact or so, before she removed herself from Rusev. We're going to wait probably another year or so before she turns into, her own.
No, it's not going to be a year.
Oh, it's going to happen faster than you think. I think, because you need time to develop her character. Because is she going to stay Russian when she lets the hair down?
No, of course not. She's just going to drop the charade right away.
Yeah.
The Miz comes out.
Why?
And he gets to do the OHIO, which I know a lot of people absolutely love, especially if you're from Ohio. And he said, my people, the people I left. And he trashed Ohio. And he says, you don't count if you don't live in LA or New York. So, okay, fair enough.
And he's from Cleveland.
Original Parma Heights, right outside of Cleveland, actually. Dolph Ziggler is the same way. So they're both from Cleveland. Outskirts of Cleveland. So
technically he lives in Hollywood now, or LA, or whatever.
I said a long time ago you had the Miz feud with Dolph. It was the battle literally of Hollywood and the battle of literally Ohio.
Yeah.
Hollywood, California versus Hollywood, Florida.
Yeah.
Let's talk Intercontinental title. Oh, God.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to talk about this, too.
Ryback and Big Show. Here's the thing. If the match would have ended after the spine buster, the meat hook, and the shell shock, that's exactly what needed to happen. Big Show didn't even need to get anything. Ryback could have squashed him, and it would have been really great for his credibility.
And The Miz had just, no relevance being out there, I thought.
No, he's setting up for a feud with both of them. It's going to be a three-way feud for the title. I don't have a problem with that, but I mean...
Yeah.
I remember the NXT shows in Columbus over the Arnold Classic weekend with the "Please Retire" chants for the Big Show. So,
And any moves or spots you talk about in this match, I have no clue what you're talking about because this was literally my piss break.
you can't do that when you're me.
Yeah, I, it's sad to say that this match was that because it's not a Divas match. Divas matches last a little bit longer now, not the extent of NXT. But I went to the bathroom, washed my hands, and of course, the match was already over.
Okay, number one, it's not as bad as it could have been, but it wasn't memorable at all. Like I said, that's how the match should have ended. It was the spine buster, the meat hook, and he sets up the shell shock, but of course, that ends up getting stopped. Big Show gets clotheslined over the top to the floor. Ryback ends up throwing the Miz over the announce table, and when Big Show gets back in the ring, he makes Ryback eat the harpoon. Because obviously it's not a spear, it's a harpoon. So he goes for the goozle for the choke slam. It gets countered, and we get a little bit of the Big Show feud with Alberto Del Rio because he breaks out the Jujigatami, the cross arm breaker, and he gets to the ropes. A running boot, a snap suplex from the Big Show, which looked really impressive, by the way. He hits the Warrior Splash, gets a 2 off of that. Charges in the Big Show with a goozle, choke slam, gets a 2. Remember when that used to be a finish, Aaron?
Yeah.
Yeah, like so many people have said, finishing moves don't matter anymore. They just don't. They're false finishes now. He ducks the punch, and of course, he goes for the shell shock, gets countered. Big Show knocks Ryback out, but knocks him out to the floor. So the Miz gets up, and the Big Show tosses Ryback in. Miz jumps in, nails the Big Show, which allows the Big Show to win by DQ, which technically means I won this prediction, even though the title didn't change hands. And basically, he runs away because he's a coward. I like the cowardly Miz. I think it works really well for his heel persona. And the Columbus crowd were chanting, "Thank you, Miz," very audibly after the match was over.
Oh, I didn't hear that because I took a piss.
So did probably a lot of people that were in attendance in Nationwide tonight.
Which is sad because, it's not a Divas match. I should not be going to the bathroom during a title match like Ryback versus Big Show. But again, if you agree with me on this one, they gave away a great spot on Raw. He shell-shocked Big Show. You could have saved that for the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I really have to agree on that one. When it all boils down to it, you don't give away spots like that on free television.
Oh, you don't. I mean, maybe TNA and Lucha Underground does, but for the sake of argument, Lucha Underground doesn't have the pay-per-views. But, you just don't do that.
And they don't travel either. They don't have house shows.
Oh, yeah.
Lucha Underground would not work as a traveling wrestling company.
They already spend way too much money. That's why they're cutting back. And if there's a second season, they're going to cut back because they spend a lot of money on production. You can see that. If they were given the funds, I could definitely see them as a traveling company being not extremely successful, but being successful.
It wouldn't work because the setup doesn't work for it. It has to be something that's taped. It's got to be something that's pre-production like crazy. It would not work as a televised show. It'd just be another indie. It wouldn't be the stuff that makes Lucha Underground unique.
Oh, you mean like non-televised shows? It would have to be like a setup like production.
It'd have to be a televised wrestling product, and that's all. That's what Lucha Underground is. It would not fit as a touring company at all.
Oh, just for live events, but maybe tour just taping though. Just basically be a touring taping product.
You have to put it in the damp warehouse setting. I mean, that's the only way to make it work. I think Lucha Underground works a very niche product, so.
Oh yeah, no, they do. I enjoy them watching them every week. Wednesdays are my favorite night to watch wrestling. I think everybody out there would agree that that's the night for wrestling, not sports entertainment.
Oh, most definitely. All right, are you ready to talk about this?
We're on
champion versus champion.
Oh yes,
NXT champion Kevin Owens taking on United States champion John Cena, and the crowd very heavy on Owens' favor, and Cena, when he first comes out, gets a split reaction. He turned a lot of the crowd tonight, and it was great because they played the yay boo game whenever either one of them raised up their respective championships. Because when Owens raised the NXT title, the fans would go crazy, and when Cena raised the U.S. title, fans would be like, boo. I mean, if that was the U.S. title that Dusty Rhodes and Harley raised, that same exact version of the U.S. title, the NWA U.S. title, I think that the fans would have had a little bit more respect for tradition. And that ugly-looking, like, Superman logo on the U.S. title they've got now.
Yeah, that's true. This crowd made the match very exciting.
Oh, that crowd's awesome, and I've been a part of it several times. The Columbus crowd is really good. That's why they deserve the pay-per-view, and that's why I guarantee they get another one.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to become, honestly, I think it's going to be a regular spot for, like the second-tier pay-per-views, and I think eventually, I can't see it getting a Royal, well, maybe Royal Rumble potentially down the line. That could be a possibility, or maybe a Survivor Series, because we've gotten go-home shows for Raw for Survivor Series before. But don't forget, Ohio State has this huge, huge stadium that could work really well for WrestleMania. You never know.
They got a new stadium.
Well, they have a huge stadium for sports, so yeah. I think that it would be a great outdoor venue for WrestleMania down the line. I'd love to see it because I would definitely be there for that.
Oh, of course, and that's a I think that's an underrated city. There's a lot of history of wrestling in that city.
Yeah, totally. Ohio in general is a great wrestling hotbed when it comes to actually just the state itself.
Oh yeah.
A lot of great indie wrestling in Ohio and in the Cleveland area.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're always packed to the maximum capacity. Because NXT went there, Money in the Bank went there, all sold out.
Yeah, they did No Mercy there. I think it was '98, and they've done a lot of Raws, a lot of SmackDowns. So yeah, they've ran Columbus a lot. So it's one of their top tier locations. When that list came out, that everybody's like, why is my location not higher? Why is it the B location? It's an A location. I've been in the crowd. Columbus is most definitely an A location when it comes to WWE, without a doubt.
Keep it up, Ohio.
Yeah, no lie. Get me to a wrestling pay-per-view again. It'd be awesome. So, I'll go into this match, because this match was fun.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, we'll pick it up from when Cena does his double shoulder tackles and goes for the proto bomb, which we'll pick it up from there. Owens counters. He hits 2 shoulder tackles, hits the proto bomb, does the "you can't see me," which the crowd says in unison, and drops the 5-knuckle shuffle. He goes for the F-Sync, which of course is countered into a roll through into the STF, but Owens gets to the rope. So Cena tries to drag him in the middle of the ring. Owens kicks him off. Cena goes for an inverted suplex and gets a 2 count off of that because he's going for the F-Sync again. So he breaks out the code breaker, does Owens. More Marufuji than Jericho, though, honestly, to be perfectly honest there. For a near fall. So he tosses him off for the ropes, goes for the pop-up, and of course Cena leapfrogs over him, ducks the right, hits the proto-bomb, 5-knuckle shuffle, goes for the AA, gets countered, a nice short German suplex, hits the cannonball in the corner for the 2 count. When they're back to their vertical base, they trade punches, swing in, and the Uranagi is countered into a crucifix, and Owens plants him with the air raid crash, 1-2, and a kick out. Owens heads up top for the swanton, but Cena gets the knees up, and it looks brutal as all get out, by the way, because he caught him right in the upper back, and that's a hard place to get hit.
Hard-hitting match as we were expecting.
Without a doubt. Cena with the electric chair gets a near fall off of that. Basically, electric chair, no face buster, and the AA only gets a 2 count. So Cena argues with Mike Chioda, and you don't see Cena get so flustered he actually argues with the ref about the cadence of the count. That just doesn't fit his character at all. And that's how much that Owens is throwing him off his game.
And a lot of dirt sheets are saying that John Cena has been very awful at calling spots lately. You can hear him clearly.
It's terrible. It's always terrible.
I never hear him. You guys must have good ears. I never.
Yeah, if you watch Botchamania, and he had the thing that's like you talk too much. It says Cena talks too much, and he has this segment where basically it's just Cena calling spots in matches. He is very, very obvious when he does it. Some people are not. Cena's extremely obvious when he does it. He wasn't as bad as... He's still bad tonight, but he wasn't as bad as normal. I mean,
I
I
saw
caught
the
Rollins a
video.
couple times tonight myself, but
I saw the video. It's really funny. Maybe when I watch back Money in the Bank, because I'll only watch that match. But I saw the video that you were talking about. Me, it's really funny. It's just like, oh yeah, with me. I do this. I'm like,
yeah,
yeah,
it's funny. So he puts Owens on the buckle, he climbs up, goes to the AA, gets countered, and he spins him around the victory roll into a sit-out powerbomb 1-2 and a kick out. So knee lift, and he tosses him into the ropes, and he goes for the pop-up powerbomb, countered into a Rana. When he gets up to his feet, Owens dims his running legs with a super kick. Near fall on that one. Cena hits the swing DDT, and he gets a near fall off of that. Cena heads up top, going for the leg drop. Owens out of the way. Hits what apparently he's going to start using. Obviously, if you know anything about the former Kevin Steen, you would know he's very famous for a package pile driver. And it's a very devastating move to see in real life.
Oh,
now he's...
You're now talking about that spot where John Cena did the pile driver?
Oh, this isn't Cena.
Oh, okay.
No, this is Owens.
Okay, I got something to say about the move that Cena did that nobody thought would see.
Oh, we'll talk about that. No, that's not a pile driver. We'll talk about that.
Oh,
I'll get to that in a minute. I know exactly what you're talking about. Trust me, I'm
Okay.
going to have a different saying on that than most people will.
Oh, cool.
But basically, he's turned the package pile driver into a package sidewalk slam, which I don't have a problem with that. That kind of works. He gets a near fall off of that. Drags him to the corner. He hits the middle rope to top rope moonsault, but it misses. Cena hits the AA 1-2. Again, Owens kicks out. Cena drags Owens to the corner, puts him on the buckle, goes for a superplex, countered into a top rope key crusher, and Cena still kicks out. The same move he hit Finn Balor with when they had that brilliant match on NXT.
Oh,
Cena counters the drop toe hold into the STF.
When they did that match, man, they should have saved it for NXT TakeOver, but we're getting it on 4th of July.
Oh, yeah, we are. And we are going to be talking about it like 10 o'clock in the morning on 4th of July.
Is it really going to air at 6:30 in the morning?
Yes.
They're seriously going to do this?
Yes. Yes, we are.
How is that going to work in the advertisements?
We're going to promote it. It's going to air, we're going to find out exactly how long the show's going to run. If it's going to run 2 hours, we'll promote it for 2 hours after. If it's going to be 3 hours, we'll promote it for 3 hours after.
It's just going to be so interesting to see how WWE Network, advertises it, especially on television during Raw and SmackDown. 4th of July, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like,
I'm really, really curious to see how Ashley and I are going to be on that show. That should be really entertaining for the viewers to watch us at 10 o'clock in the morning after getting up at 6:30 to watch a wrestling show.
it should be, if we get up to watch this show, and we should, because
We are.
versus Owens, and we will. We're basically hardcore dedicated fans, but it's going to be interesting to see how many people tune in to see the show. I'm worried.
That's an archive video. I understand that. There's not going to be many people, if any, watching live, and I totally get that. But
Yeah.
anybody that's up that early, thanks. So
Gonna be thanks in advance.
no lie. So while the STF is locked on, Owens crawls, finally makes it to the ropes. So a boot in, and oh my god. Cena sets up for a code red, which give me a minute to come up with, give me till Raw tomorrow, I'll come up with a name for it. But Cena goes for the code red, and it looks like it's not going to work, and it looks like it's like the timing's off a bit, and it looks like they have to reset, physically reset during the match, but he gets it off, and it looks awesome. And everybody on the internet was going crazy. It was like, oh my god, Cena hit a code red. It's like, oh my, yeah, tell me about it. It was very awkward seeing it. And then when Cena gets up, while they're showing the code red on one side of the screen, you got a split screen, of course, doing the replay. Owens has the pop-up powerbomb, which basically is missed by the cameraman.
Come on, cameraman.
Man, that guy got fired. Near fall. So he drops Cena with the right hand twice. And knee in, and he's trash-talking Cena the whole time. Tosses him into the ropes. Cena springboards off. Hits the heel turn. Owens doesn't drop. And, of course, he walks right into the AA. 1, 2, 3. I believe the hashtag is #LOL Cena wins.
I did not see that hashtag. But Cena versus Owens, just the commentators did such a great job praising this match. Obviously, obviously they were being told what to say, but they just knew what to say. It was great commentary, and at the end of the match, because commentary is not the best in WWE anymore.
No.
I wanted to make sure people knew what I was talking about. Yeah, after the match, the commentary was good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the match, more importantly, delivered. And I didn't mean to post on. I meant to post on Facebook, but I never got around to it because I was also doing results coverage on my Facebook page, Mr. Game 92, cheap plug. The match was just a classic. I meant to post. I'm just waiting for Kevin Owens versus John Cena. Like after the first half of the pay-per-view, I was just like, I'm just waiting for the real match we're all looking forward to tonight, the rematch.
We will. We'll get to that. Trust me.
Yeah.
But we're not done with this at all. No. So the match ends, and Cena says to Owens, of course, the mic is. The ring is mic'd really well for the HD cameras, like it always is. That's the reason why Cena can't cover up his spot calling. So he basically says that you belong right here in front of everybody, in front of all of this. He hands Owens the NXT Championship, and he extends his hand out. It's like, you've earned my respect. And Owens takes it. And the fans boo this. Until Owens turns tail and boots him out of the ring, literally. He picks him up, apron powerbomb, and leaves Cena laying, yells out, "Get the stretcher." He does the "you can't see me," and says the real champ is here. And the great thing about this is he cackles maniacally. It's one of the greatest sounds I've ever heard in my life.
It sounded like he was watching a very funny sitcom.
It's like back when him and Owen would watch Crash and Bernstein on Disney XD, because I know I've talked. That's a weird segment, rigged segue to talk about, but yeah, that's something that him and his son enjoy. So yes.
Oh my goodness!
I know this from a chat we had on Twitter one night.
Oh wow, that was great. But obviously it was predictable. You knew Kevin Owens was going to do something because that's what true heels do. That's a great heel move.
But here's the issue.
Don't take it.
Neville, he took the apron bomb.
Mm-hmm.
He got stretchered out. Sami Zayn took the apron bomb. We haven't seen him since. And John Cena takes the apron bomb. He gets helped out by referees.
Cause he's Super Cena.
That's why his title belt looks the way it does. It perfectly fits the Superman persona. And this is coming from a guy that's not a Cena hater at all.
Yeah.
I went on record last month for Payback to say that when it comes down to it, Elimination Chamber. I'm getting these. We shouldn't have had an Elimination Chamber. It's the reason I'm getting confused. In Elimination Chamber, when we had Owens and Cena won.
Yeah.
I said right there, that's how you make someone. Kevin Owens is a made man because of what John Cena did.
I used to be a Cena hater until probably this year when he put over every person that has transferred over from NXT to television. And Kevin Owens is top of the list. He's putting him over in every segment and in every match.
And, I mean, there's a lot of real respect and camaraderie between the two, and you could definitely tell it shines through every single time that they're in the ring, whether it's a promo, whether it's a match, there's magic between the two of them.
Their chemistry is just, like I said last month, it's just unmatched, and I want to see more. I know we're going to see more.
Oh, yeah. I think I know where we're going with this, but we'll get to that in a minute. Obviously, I think we're going to take Battleground off. This has to end at SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And
Owens loses.
It's going to end in a big way at SummerSlam. I think I know where you're going with it, too.
Owens is going to lost to Cena tonight, but he lost the battle, but he definitely won the war. Everyone can say that because it's true. I think he's off his game now because he lost, so that's going to cause him to lose to Finn Balor, and he's going to lose the NXT Championship. And we're going to get Balor and Joe in NXT. Yes, please. And then we're going to get Owens and Cena for the U.S. title at SummerSlam. Because after the match was over, don't forget, Owens basically grabbed the U.S. title and said, basically, keep this warm for me. I'll take it when I want to. So yeah, I think that's what we're getting. And some people say, oh, this is the first time Kevin Owens has lost. Legitimately, this is the first time Kevin Owens has lost on television. Cena's the first person. Well, it makes sense, obviously. Cena's the first person to beat him because he's the first person to beat Rusev too. So that's a whole different can of worms right there. This match was awesome in every way possible. I loved it. I love Cena breaking out the code red. I think that's great because you can tell that Columbus has a lot of indie feds that come through, and in the surrounding area, there's a lot of indie feds that work the shows, like big indies, and also when people go to Cleveland to go watch shows, because I mean it's not extremely far, but it's still within like driving distance.
Right.
So people have seen the Code Red before. A lot of WWE fans that does exist, people that are just strictly WWE fans, and that's it. They probably have never seen something like that. And when they saw that move, and I saw them set up for it, and I was like, he's going to do a Code Red, isn't he? And I know some people think that sometimes the moves don't really matter. I'm trying to get everything over here, trying to talk about the spots, trying to talk about the storyline, and to try to just sum it all together. That's what I do when I actually do commentary, and I'm sure you guys probably get that by listening to these podcasts.
And the other thing, too, is that the moves – I don't know why fans are saying the moves don't matter. I mean, maybe the finishers don't matter what they used to, but the moves have to matter. The moves also tell a story. If the moves don't matter, what's the point of having a match, let alone wrestling?
Yeah. I mean, you're telling us you don't really have to do moves to tell a story, though. That's what some people are saying.
Oh, well, then, we can't just have talking then, because you can also tell a story. The unique thing about WWE is separating from TNA and Lucha Underground, because, they do a great job telling the story in a lot of different ways, in my opinion. But WWE, you can tell the stories through a video package. You can tell the stories through a backstage segment, promo, the match. So, yeah, maybe telling a story through a match is not entirely true in WWE. But obviously, Cena versus Owens was a very good they're two good storytellers in the promos and the matches.
That's why you'll notice, if you're listening, and I'm sure you probably have figured this out by now, this is one of two matches I'm going to put like the most I can into. And everything else I will talk about, but I'm putting everything into two matches tonight, and those are the matches that made the show.
They owned Money in the Bank.
Yeah, without a doubt. But we'll talk about that in a minute because we have another match to get to first. And before we get to that, we have to make mention of something. They mentioned on Raw, I don't know if they did it on SmackDown, because obviously I don't watch SmackDown, but I know they mentioned on Raw that they were going to do a bonus match on the show with the Mega Powers against the Ascension, and it got cut for time, apparently. It's on Raw tonight, I almost guarantee it.
Yeah, I don't get that from WWE. Why do they advertise these things and then nix them at the last minute with no announcement?
Honestly, they probably just forgot. It's like, we actually have another match? All right.
They're literally the only company that does that. That's so annoying.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is, I guess. Tag team title match.
I'm fine with that. I didn't want to see the match anyways.
Tag team title match. We have the New Day, this time being represented by Big E and Xavier Woods, taking on the primetime players, Darren Young and Titus O'Neil. And I can tell you right now, without a doubt, PTP in Columbus is a perfect fit, because I've seen a lot of Raws there, and there's actually a section of primetime player shirts. In the crowd. They actually had their own section. This was when they weren't selling the shirts except on Shop. They weren't selling them on the house shows or on the pay-per-views or on the televised events. They were just selling them on Shop. And there was about 15 guys that were wearing the purple primetime player shirts.
That's awesome. And
I've got one, but I didn't get it that way.
Well, let me just say, this match, before we get into it, smartest booking of the night.
I like this a lot, and I think I am the only one that called this.
Oh, I think you did, yeah.
I am the only one that called this because it
Yeah,
made the most sense.
Because I definitely say New Day was going to win, but evidently Money in the Bank was not a good day for a New Day.
No, it really wasn't. I say that's a promo waiting to happen tonight on Raw. Here's the thing. Xavier Woods almost gets so flustered that he snaps and tells the fans that they suck, but Big E calms him down, and everything's right in the world, and Xavier can go back to playing video games, watching the Power Rangers, which makes him happy. So, and that's no disrespect, because he'll tell you straight up he likes to play video games and watch the Power Rangers. I mean, the guy was wearing Black Ranger tights for the longest time.
Yeah.
He yells it's morphin' time before he hits the honor roll, so there you go.
It's morphin' time.
True. I'm not lying. So, a couple things I want to talk about in this match, because obviously we're building the main event, which is next. There's a nice big splash leg drop combo on Darren Young by the New Day, which kind of reminds me a little bit of when Rob Van Dam and Sabu used to team up. But instead of a splash, replace that with Rob Van Dam's Rolling Thunder. I think that's a good combination to be able to explain exactly what that spot was like.
Right.
Xavier whips Darren Young into the STO, which he really can call the ST Joe now because that's happening. And he gets a near fall out of that. Big E ends up getting shoulder first into the post, tags in Xavier, hot tag into Titus O'Neil. He comes in with a big clothesline on Big E, sending him over the top of the floor. Titus backbreaker, tosses him aside like he's nothing. Avalanche, he hits the Monty Brown pounce. And, or is that the Marcus Corvon pounce? Because it is the WWE after all. Big E makes the save, a boot in, and Big E goes for his spear on Darren Young off the ring apron, and you could tell immediately something was wrong because Big E landed with a thud, and you heard the sickening scream come out of it. I think he popped his shoulder out of place. It looked like he landed on his shoulder bad. Because they went right, because if you notice real quick, if you think about the match, they went right to the finish afterwards.
Oh, wow.
Right to the finish afterwards. So Darren with a roll up for 2, ducks the big boot, clash of the Titus, connects 1, 2, 3, and rather unceremoniously, it really came without any fanfare. It just kind of happened. The New Day have lost the tag team championships, and Darren Young and Titus O'Neil are finally the WWE tag team champions, which should have happened a long time ago.
Right.
So the primetime players celebrate. We get a shot in the crowd to see Justin LeBar doing the millions of dollars dance. I had to bring that one up. And it is announced officially that 5 weeks, thank God it's 5 weeks from now and it's not next week or the week after. But the week after is TNA, so that's another story altogether. We have a break until Battleground, which is going to be in Randy Orton country, St. Louis, Missouri. And the first match is announced, Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, but again, they're starting to build up early. Why do you have you have a pay-per-view that you finally have a gap of 5 weeks for. Why do you gotta announce a match on a pay-per-view that's not even over yet?
Because you have to get people that are just kind of half paying attention that that attack was done for a reason to set up a match at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That's the only reason you have something like that happen. And it was funny because after it happened, you heard the crowd in Columbus were actually chanting, "Thank you, Bray," and "Thank you, Wyatt."
Well, yeah, it was good to see Bray Wyatt back. I mean, PWM Pro Wrestling Magazine, I think, said it on Twitter. They said, "Welcome back to relevance, Bray Wyatt."
I hope so. The problem with this feud is this is not a feud Bray Wyatt's going to win, and he does not need to lose another feud.
He doesn't need to lose another feud, but it's going to be interesting. It's a toss up.
I think so, yeah.
They don't know what to do, kind of, with Roman Reigns. Bray Wyatt, he's kind of up and down, so it really could be anyone's ball game.
Well, it's great because I was trying to tell everyone that Roman Reigns was being set up to fail.
Right.
And he was the whole time, and people, ignored that fact. But when it comes down to it, he doesn't have a briefcase. He's feuding with Bray Wyatt. He's nowhere near the title picture. You're going to have to do some serious adjustments if you want to get him and Brock at SummerSlam. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Oh, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not going to happen.
What's the point now?
Oh, yeah, no, there's no point in doing it. I don't think Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar would be a marquee matchup for SummerSlam, the second biggest pay-per-view next to WrestleMania. That's not going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen.
I'm not a fan of Roman Reigns, but I got to disagree with you on that one. As much as you could say what you want about that one-sided beating on Roman Reigns, I really think in New York and New Jersey, the middle ground, obviously, is where it is, because my friend Drew's going to be there. When it comes down to it, I really think that it would be a marquee match for a SummerSlam. And it's funny because there's a picture that's already been leaked out about the poster for the event, and it's Roman on one side and Brock on the other. And Brock's not even on television now, and Roman is far away from the title as possible. So they got a lot to do in a month.
Yeah, well, I guess, then, okay. I'll give you the benefit of the argument that Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, if they do it again, please make it a better build-up. That's all I say.
I can see that.
Yeah, please make it a better build-up, because the build-up to their match at WrestleMania was like just awful, and then they caught us off. They caught all of us off guard when their match finally happened at WrestleMania and said, "Wow, this is really good."
But think about it like this, Aaron. Just because Brock and Roman are set on a collision course with each other because they want to figure out who the bigger beast is when it comes down to it, the title doesn't have to be on the line at all. There's no reason to put the world title on the line, so you could have it as a special attraction with just the heat from the WrestleMania match, and that's what's propelling it to work.
True. Kind of like what they did with John Cena versus Kevin Owens, but, it was unique. You kind of couldn't put a title on the line because, the titles were different brands, so kind of like that. Makes sense.
I'm not sure, because if Ambrose wants another shot at Rollins, I don't know what he's going to have, what all sorts of hoops he's going to have to jump through in order to get that, because he got pretty definitively defeated tonight. So, but we'll talk about that in depth in a minute.
Yeah, he did, and yeah, I can't wait to talk about it.
All right, so sit down in this. This is when the drinking comes into effect, obviously, because I really should have got water for this, because this is a lot to talk about. But I'm good for it, so we're good. Before the match starts, you see J&J in the back, and they're wearing the same colors that Rollins is wearing, but they don't say a word. Kane basically says he wants to see Rollins fail. Steph says if something happens and Ambrose becomes champion, then no one will be to blame but him.
And Michael Cole commentating and cut off by Triple H.
As he should. Triple H says, clear your mind, stand on your own 2 feet, show them why I chose you. You're not the future, you're the man. And it's like this great, like, Vince Lombardi style, like, pump up for Triple H. I thought it was brilliant in the way that it was executed, too.
No, because, like, the face he had was like, show them all. And he gets closer, show them all. And I was like, this is great. I don't know why I found it cheesy, but it was just great. If you ever need a pep talk about motivation, just get it from Triple H. He's great. He's a great speaker.
Just watch the E60 on NXT. I mean, that's a great pep talk.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Now, let's have some fun, shall we? So this is a ladder match. Seth Rollins defending the WWE Championship that he hasn't had in a long time, given the fact that Ambrose stole it from him and took it to New Orleans and other places. Didn't find it in, like, the fridge or anything, which I really wish they would have went that way, but I think that's a little too close to home, so I understand why they didn't. So we have a ladder match that ends the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. So we start off with a match that involves a ladder, and we end the show with a match that involves a ladder. In one case, you have a briefcase that equals out to probability of being world champion, and the other match equals out to the championship itself. So it's quite appropriate. It bookmarks the champion.
Yeah, no, it's appropriate. Makes sense. It was like it was keeping the WWE World Heavyweight Championship relevant, like they did last year when they had both title belts in the air, ending the show, and at the start of the show they had the Money in the Bank ladder matches.
I think it was a good bookend of everything. It made perfect sense that that's the the path they would take. I really should have got a drink for this, because I know this is going to make me work overtime. You know exactly what I'm talking about. All right. So Ambrose finally sets up the only, like, legitimate, like, real, like, Dusty Rhodes style bionic elbow. But he does it off the top of the ladder. He does his flying standing elbow drop off the ladder. Then he clotheslines Rollins over the top rope to the floor. Dean climbs up, and Rollins grabs a chair and nails him in the legs. Smart move there, obviously, because if you don't have healthy legs, how are you going to be able to climb a ladder? Makes perfect sense, right?
Good point.
So he ties Ambrose's leg up in the ropes. He rams the ladder into the leg, gets the dragon screw leg whip, and he starts working the ladder on the leg. He slams the leg into the ring post, and he locks on the ring post figure 4, which is the credit of all the announce team that they've obviously seen it before because it was a Bret Hart trademark for the longest time. And I have no idea why they treat it like it's never been seen before. It never makes any sense to me, but I don't think we're supposed to remember that it happened.
Yeah, because wrestling fans are not supposed to remember.
Wrestling fans are not supposed to remember these things are happening because that's what we're supposed to forget last week. We're supposed to forget yesterday.
Exactly.
We're supposed to forget the house show that was about 6 hours ago.
Right? Like it's not like Wrestling 101 because other companies don't do that. It's WWE logic. And it's funny because I know exactly what you're saying. Every time, even on Raw, oh my God, it even sounds worse on Raw. Like if you don't have
it's terrible.
And on Raw and they do that move, they're like, the figure 4 leg lock, the figure 4 leg lock. I'm like, Michael. Like
great segue, Aaron, because the next thing that happens is when he gets in the ring, he does get him in the actual figure 4 leg lock. They trade slaps. And finally...
That's the part where Jerry Lawler is like chop, slap, chop, slap.
No, that's later.
Oh,
that's later. They're trading literal slaps to the face.
Oh, yeah.
Ambrose changed the momentum and turns up the heat on Rollins. So he puts him on the buckle, ties him up to the Tree of Woe. Right. Rollins grabs a chair and hits him in the kneecap with it. Rollins heads up top, hits Warrior's Way, which looks great, by the way. Mm-hmm. Rollins climbs up. Ambrose on one leg shoves the ladder over, and Rollins hot shots himself across the top rope. So he starts punching away on Rollins. Rollins with a front kick, and of course, Seth drops the ladder into Ambrose's face when he's setting up for the Jawbreaker Lariat. And Seth starts the Pillmanization of the leg of Dean Ambrose. Heads up top, Ambrose stops him, and he smash mouths the old Kid Cash style of throwing a chair in your head as hard as humanly possible. So he climbs up, going for the superplex, gets blocked, but it's knocked off slightly. Ambrose, of course, is dazed momentarily. Rollins heads up for the springboard knee strike, but Ambrose shakes the ropes. Rollins gets crotched. Dean heads up off the middle ropes, hits a vicious lariat, and spins Rollins like a top. And then when Rollins gets up to his feet, then comes the punch, chop, punch, chop, punch, chop. Cuts, spinning back kick to the knee and Ambrose comes out with a Cactus Jack style clothesline, both men over the top to the floor. He boots Ambrose, sends him hard to the guardrail, and Rollins comes in, sets the ladder up.
So far in this match, it started out slow, but then the pace quickly got picked up by the end of the match, which we're not there yet.
We're getting there, no worries.
Oh yeah, and no, I just wanted to mention that Ambrose is an animal, and I think Renee Young knows a thing or two about that.
Very, very true. So he grabs another ladder and he tosses this ladder at Ambrose, and of course he misses. When Dean gets back in the ring, Rollins hits the Ghetto Blaster, which of course ricochets into the Jawbreaker Lariat, which it finally connects. He sets up for Dirty Deeds, and Rollins ends up going to the floor to break the momentum. So he tries to literally escape to the crowd. Ambrose follows him in, and they fight in the crowd, which fighting in the crowd is really fun for people at ringside, but my God, does it suck for people in the nosebleeds, without a doubt. Because I remember going to see ECW Heatwave 99 in Dayton, Ohio, and when they would fight in the crowd, it was Super Crazy, Little Guido, and Yoshihiro Tajiri, Super Crazy and Little Guido. And that's when Super Crazy would do the moonsault off like the high rail, like the balcony rail. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those chants from the ringside crowd was, "We can't see, we can't see." We're standing on our chairs, and the people in hair were like, "Don't stand on the chairs." Like, how else you just expect us to see? I'm 5'8", so there you go.
Wow. That must be fun.
Oh, yeah, you're telling me. So, I continue. They're fighting in the crowd, and somehow, some way, Ambrose ends up like 25 rows back, and Rollins ends up escaping. And of course, Basically, Ambrose now has had the leg worked on so much, he looks like either Frankenstein or me with a bad gout attack, one of the two, depending on who you're talking to at the time. So he's got he's like walking very slowly to try to get at Seth Rollins. I thought I'd mention that. Makes perfect sense to me. So he gets a ladder, he sets it at the top of the table, and Ambrose runs the announce tables and dives on Rollins. He lays the ladder between the apron and the table. You know where this is headed.
Oh, yeah.
They get back in the ring. Rollins sets up the buckle bomb, and he's going to Mike Awesome him, basically. He's going to awesome bomb him over the top rope through the ladder, which is how Sin Cara died for your sins. So, and you know what I'm talking about. It's very true. So what ends up happening, of course, is this is what I like to call setting up your own demise. So he punches out of the buckle bomb, and Rollins gets backdropped over the top rope into the ladder, which snaps right in half. Those Walmart ladders get you every time. So Dean gets another ladder, puts it in the ring, sets it up. He starts to slowly climb. Rollins grabs him in the nick of time, and he goes for a powerbomb, gets countered. Rollins gets his own momentum turned against him, and he gets hurricanrana to the floor. Ambrose clotheslines Rollins over the announce table. They trade punches on the top of the announce table. Rollins goes for the pedigree, but it gets stopped. Dirty Deeds version 2 on the table, but it does not break. Check the ethnicity on the table. Anybody that watches Botchamania will get that reference.
Yeah, no, they need to. I think table spots are really dangerous now in WWE, like when especially the announcers one, because they don't break. Like every other one breaks.
They don't.
Yeah.
Dean's slowly climbing. He's got one leg, by the way. Rollins uses his wherewithal to grab a television monitor and hits Ambrose in the knee with it. Knocks him off. Seth climbs up. Ambrose still climbing up. He's still got like the heart of a champion, and he's fighting up to basically do anything he can to win. So he grabs the foot. Rollins elbows him off, and finally, when he gets back down, he hits the pedigree on Ambrose, lays him out. Rollins climbs up, and it looks to me, I know that wasn't the case, but it looked like the title was being raised a little bit because he was swatting at it, and it looked like it was raising slightly. So if they really wanted to play that up, they could. I mean, it may have just been me, but it might have been one of those things like, it's not time to end yet. You got to raise a little higher. Right. He can't reach that high. Don't worry about it. But where are we here? Ambrose grabs the foot. Rollins boots him off. And Seth ends up getting Rob Petrie through the ropes. That means sidestep if you haven't been watching Pop. So Seth pulls Ambrose to the floor. Sends him head first to the ladder that's set up across the ring apron and the announce table. The Sabu style spot, basically. Barricade bomb to Ambrose. Good God. From literal barricade to barricade.
I went into the kitchen and told my dad. I stepped away from the television and I told my dad, I think Dean Ambrose is dead. And he was laughing. I said, no, I seriously think he's dead. Like, again, he died at WrestleMania, and again, he just died at Money in the Bank. As
God is my witness, that man is broken in half.
Dean Ambrose and ladders and TV monitors do not go together.
God, could you imagine if Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler were calling this match instead? Anyway.
JR would have a heart.
So, yeah, barricade bomb. Not buckle bomb, barricade bomb. So Rollins decides to say, you know what? He's not going to stay down, so I'm going to keep him down. So he grabs every chair from under the ring and a ladder, and he basically just lays it on top of Ambrose and is like, you get out now. You're not getting up. So he ends up hitting a sit-out power bomb, Batista bomb to be more specific, on everything on Ambrose. He drops the ladder on Dean. He stacks everything on top of him, kind of like what Cena did to Wade Barrett, and except for the fact it didn't drop from the ceiling. It just kind of was thrown on him. Going back to the Funks against Public Enemy and ECW to tie in that reference. So he can't get back in. Rollins climbs up. Ambrose somehow still has the heart of a champion. Fights up, and he finally gets back in. He climbs up. Seth starts elbowing away. Ambrose has the championship. They have a tug-of-war with the title. They both fall off. The second that they both hit the canvas, because I thought we're going for Luger and Brett again. The second they both hit the canvas, what ends up happening? Ambrose jolt makes him drop the title. So Seth Rollins retains with no help from anyone. Rollins did it on his own. Triple H comes out, the big celebration. Rollins is interviewed by JoJo out of nowhere for some reason, which made me believe there was something that was going to happen. But obviously, that was done for a reason.
Hey, I liked that. I liked we got JoJo tonight. Okay.
Yeah, it's always nice. Rollins said, "I told you so." Ha 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 ha. Because I love Seth Rollins laughing like a weasel. It's always entertaining to me.
Yeah, no.
A dastardly heel. I love it every second of it.
Him and Kevin Owens' laughs, though, like, you know, like Seth Rollins is always like, ha ha ha.
WWE brought to you in part by Weasel Laughter and Looney Tunes.
It is hilarious, and you know, like obviously, you know, like that was a good storytelling match.
It was totally.
Before the match, you said, "Show them all," and then for the love of God, the commentators could not stop saying those words, "Show them all," during the match.
Well, it's funny because Rollins used the words, "I'm the greatest world champion of all time."
And Dean Ambrose used the B word.
That right there is setting up for what's going to happen on Raw tonight. Paul Heyman, like I said before, it's not going to be the same way. Paul Heyman will return on Raw tonight. I guarantee this, because obviously there's a lot of like build up that Brock's going to be at Battleground. He'll be at SummerSlam and Battleground. He'll be at both of them. Is what it sounds like.
Oh wow!
And if that ends up being the case, you have to build to that. And the fact that Rollins just called himself the greatest world champion of all time, I don't think that's going to sit very well with Brock Lesnar. So you have a built-in way to roll that in right now.
Yeah, you do.
To get Rollins and Brock, which is the end game I think that they're building towards.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't put the briefcase on Roman, which the entire world thought was going to happen. And now Roman has almost no way to get into the world title picture at this moment. They could be cheap and have him win a way into it. But, I mean, right now, he doesn't have a way to get into the title picture by SummerSlam.
Yeah, he doesn't.
I will say, by and large, if you missed the first hour of this pay-per-view, you really didn't miss much. But, I mean, everybody tried. I think the matches were just ruined by the finishes. A lot of redundancy tonight. DQs. And false finishes are fine, but DQs. And people obviously don't like Sheamus. And, I mean, it's not one of those, like, we don't like you because you're a heel. It's like, we don't like you because you're stale. I mean...
Oh yeah, it was on track to become one of the worst pay-per-views of 2015. Whoop. And I said 2014. And it was 4 straight bad finishes in a row. Yeah, everybody tried. I just hope next year, Money in the Bank Live match, they try a little bit harder. You know, don't kill yourselves, but make it exciting like WrestleMania 31.
I'll say right now, Paige and Nikki wasn't terrible, but. And it was better than what we've seen recently.
Yeah, but
the finish just killed it.
Yeah, I mean, the finish was horrible, but you know, it's just there wasn't a lot of even though you picked out spots from the match and it made me remember, it's a match I'm going to forget by tomorrow, and it's not a memorable match.
Ryback and Big Show, like I said, if it could have ended right away, like Big Show, of all people getting squashed, that would have been great for Ryback's credibility. But now we're pressing towards a feud, like a 3-way feud with The Miz. So, I mean, I guess what you can say what this match did, it furthered a new storyline, which is going to take us into Battleground, which, I mean, I guess that's all that matters here.
Yeah.
Because that's literally all that matters in this situation. Owens and Cena was phenomenal, like it always is. I think, like I said, Owens is kind of like thrown off his game a bit. Going to cause him to lose to Finn Balor. I don't think we're going to get a losing streak for Kevin Owens. I just think that Balor's going to upset him in Tokyo, which I think makes perfect sense because they're going to get the title off him. They're going to put him on the main roster. And then Cena gets him to fight one more time at SummerSlam. But in order for Owens to fight, there's got to be a prize on the line, and that prize is the United States title.
It would be so interesting, though, that he actually walks into SummerSlam still the NXT champion now.
That's a great idea, but the thing about it is I really think that they want to put the title on Balor for the time being because they basically have painted themselves into wanting Balor and Joe and the reactions they've had when they've squared off on these 3-ways and 4-ways we've had over the weekend on the NXT tour.
Well, wouldn't that be a bigger impact than beating Cena? Because you have two NXT top guys facing each other for the NXT Championship. Finn Balor supposedly arriving on the main roster with those promo spots. Come 4th of July in Tokyo, and he wins. That's
I'm telling
big impact.
Building up Balor like that, and the fact that Balor's basic claim to fame is in Japan, so I think it makes perfect sense they would go in that direction.
It really does. And it sounds like he's going to debut as the Demon.
In Japan, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
It's going to freak people out. Not
in Japan, because they're used to it.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny.
Because they get a lot more creepy than what he's shown already.
Oh, yeah. But the viewers are just getting creeped out because, his last entrance at NXT TakeOver, Twitter exploded.
Oh, yeah, of course.
This is like the next... To me, it's the next Undertaker entrance.
But make this special. It does not need to be every time.
Yeah, definitely. It needs to be special. Does not need to be every time. Although he's taken guidance from Undertaker, so maybe it could be every time. When he shows up on Raw and SmackDown, or like you said, maybe just make it a special attraction. Just do it for pay-per-views.
I would say pay-per-views. I mean, you're not going to do this entrance on a house show.
Oh yeah, no.
What's the point?
Yeah. But, Undertaker did used to show up and do it every week, so who knows?
On television, yeah, but on the house shows, he kind of did like a more muted version of the same thing.
Right.
But yeah, Owens and Cena was amazing, and kudos to Cena. Like I said, the Code Red, awesome. I totally love that. I love the finish here where they tease the Code of Honor, and then, of course, it ends with the apron bomb, and Cena sells to the point that I know this won't happen. Because obviously with the Nexus angle, they had a chance to do this, and they basically put Cena back the same night when they said they were taking him off television. Could you imagine if Cena missed Battleground because of what Kevin Owens did to him?
I think people would be very happy.
Yes and no, because I know the general public probably wouldn't agree with you on that, obviously.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't, and I wouldn't agree with myself. There you go. We make it all fairness. Because I want to see John Cena versus Kevin Owens again, so I don't want him to be gone.
You don't want it at Battleground. You wanted to build it till SummerSlam. You want Owens to wrestle at Battleground against someone else.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I would, if it was me, I would do the rematch with Finn Balor at Battleground.
The rematch with Finn Balor?
Yeah.
Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you could. Oh, yeah, you could.
Because what you could have happen, honestly, would be, I mean, if you want to take the title off of him, you can do it in Tokyo, or you can have him retain in Tokyo, which a lot of people would be shocked by, and then have him lose the title at Battleground because Cena got in his head and he wasn't on his game. But now he doesn't have a prize. He needs to fight for another one, and now the U.S. Championship is looking a lot more like something he wants. So then, of course, he's like, okay, we'll fight one more time. But you got to put that title on the line because I only fight for a prize.
Right.
And this is when we get the rubber match where I'm sorry, I'm not going to agree with what a lot of people are saying. This is Kevin Owens' feud to win.
Yeah, no, it is. It really is. I think people have to come to their senses on that because, he's got one win over Cena, and just because Cena redeemed himself doesn't mean he's winning the feud. It's tied right now.
I mean, Cena got a pinfall win, but when it comes down to it, the person that was left standing at the end of the night, it wasn't John Cena. So, in essence, Cena may have got a pinfall victory, but he's not winning. But he's definitely down in the war right now.
Right.
And you got to look at it from that perspective, too. I like the fact you put the tag team titles on the primetime players. This opens up a lot of new options. I really hope that Big E's not hurt. He might be, and that would mean Xavier and Kofi would be the tag team for the New Day for a while, and Big E would be on the shelf, or he'd be at ringside giving inspiration with like an arm sling. I could totally see that, to be honest.
Inspiration. That's what he's for in the New Day.
Clap with your tag champs, yes. and obviously this is going to lead to Harper and Rowan and the primetime players. So I think this is what they're going to build towards starting tonight on Raw.
Yeah, see, people finally get Harper and Rowan. No complaining. It just took a while.
And who knows? Maybe the way will lead them to Dudleyville down the line, and we actually may get a really awesome feud between Harper and Rowan and Bubba and Demon. which I really like to see, to be honest. This is going to be a really hard-hitting match.
Yeah, no, it'd be really surprising if it happens.
Ambrose and Rollins made perfect sense tonight. I love the fact that you did the old Anderson tactic of working on one body part the entire match and keeping it up the whole time. And kudos to Ambrose for selling like a madman the whole time. I love the fact his come from behind stuff. He played the babyface very, very well tonight. A lot better than always, and that's hard to say because Ambrose has transitioned into easily one of the most popular superstars on the roster right now.
Oh, yeah.
I will say right now this match was really good for Seth Rollins' title, his reign overall, because Rollins needed a match like this. Because most of his stuff has been with the help of Kane, with the help of the other members of the Authority, J&J, and even Triple H's like way of making matches that fit him and suit him best. Now Rollins went out and did it on his own, so now he has a lot of bragging rights, and justifiable bragging rights for the first time, because I can honestly say this is the first time that he's actually had a title defense that makes perfect sense, that he's been put over as like the smarmy like chicken heel, but now he proved he can get the job done, and he obliterated Dean Ambrose. Even though he almost lost tonight, he still didn't, and he had the wherewithal to win without any help, and now he can throw it in Triple H's face.
Yeah. He showed them all.
I mean, are we going to get Kane and Rollins anytime soon? Maybe not anytime soon, but I think it's gonna come to a head eventually. I think we're going to keep building to it week after week. What'd you say?
I hope never, but like if Kane turns into the monster, because the Kane mask showed up again on Raw mysteriously.
See what that's doing. That's put it in the back of your head, in the back of other people's heads, that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Eventually, this will happen.
Yeah.
But you have to boot Kane out of the Authority first.
Yep.
And I thought we'd go a different way, because obviously Sheamus is Triple H's boy, and it's been the case for a long time, and that's everyone knows that. And I always thought that Triple H would want Sheamus in the Authority, and now he's got Money in the Bank. It would make perfect sense that he would be in the Authority, so he couldn't go after Seth Rollins. Like more of an insurance policy for the Authority to have Mr. Money in the Bank in there with the world champion, so they could prevent Rollins once more from losing the title. Or Triple H can says, you proved last night that you can do it. Now, how about tonight you have another match. You put that championship on the line. And what I said could have possibly happened with Sheamus joining the Authority and Rollins ending up turning babyface and saying, like, I could see the end of this after the beatings. Seth, this is just business. With Sheamus celebrating with the WWE Championship with Triple H and Stephanie. I could totally see them doing that, but I don't know if they would do it this early or not. It just kind of depends. I don't think a lot of people want Sheamus to have the case very long. I don't know when he has to go start filming Turtles, so... Yeah. I mean, I know he has filmed a couple scenes, but I don't know how long he's going to be out.
Yeah, probably a little too early for him joining the Authority.
No, it's not. It's something that should have happened a long time ago.
Yeah, well, yeah, a long time ago. Obviously, you know, fans like us that don't discuss it this way from behind the scenes perspective probably, you know, don't know when he's going to join the Authority at all. But tonight's Raw could be, one of those episodes where, it's actually better than it's actually better than the pay-per-view. It usually happens if a pay-per-view is lackluster. There was only 2 good matches on it, and it was the couple of last matches. It usually does happen. Raw is usually the superior show than a pay-per-view the previous night.
Not always. Most time, but not always.
Yeah.
You're not going to see anything like Owens and Cena 2 on Raw tonight, I don't think.
No, you're not. But you know, there's going to be a big moment.
I'm sure there will be. I think there will be at least one title change on Raw tonight.
Please be the Divas. Just kidding.
I'm not saying which one, but I'm saying there will be a title change tonight. And when it comes down to it, when the Authority kick Rollins out and they celebrate with their new Golden Boy, I really think that there's a good possibility when they turn on Rollins, since obviously he doesn't have a title now and he's useless to the Authority because Sheamus was the real like Golden Boy all of a sudden all along, and they basically were just grooming him without anybody knowing. You have Kane make the save for Rollins, and you really turn it around, and Kane and Rollins fight side by side against the Authority. I could easily see that too.
Yeah, they could go a couple ways with this.
Kane, I could totally see Kane, Rollins, and J&J against the Authority at Survivor Series this year if they go that long. That would totally make sense to me.
Or Team NXT versus Team WWE. That's just me.
I'd like that too, honestly. That'd be great. But that's more of like a bragging rights style thing, and I don't think we even have that anymore.
Yeah, bragging rights wasn't the best pay-per-view.
No, but that was Money in the Bank this week. Overall, the show was kind of lackluster, but there was a couple really awesome things that saved it. Owen Cena 2 was great. Ambrose and Rollins was great. Most of the other matches were just kind of there, honestly. They're basically there to prolong storylines, which is fine. I have no problems with that. Money in the Bank was okay for what it was, but it wasn't anything memorable. I'm curious to see what they do with Sheamus winning the briefcase, though. I think that it's possible that he won't have it long, whether he cashes in or whether he is successful or unsuccessful. I don't think Sheamus has the briefcase past the end of this year.
Yeah. Definitely before the end of the year. Before the end of the year, he'll become champion. I really do think he will become world champion. He will be successful in cashing in whenever that takes place, or wherever that takes place. Yeah, obviously, we don't do star ratings, but I give Money in the Bank 3 stars. I think it's fair because the two matches that saved it was Cena and Owens and Ambrose and Rollins.
Yeah, I'm not going to give a star rating, but yeah, it's basically in the middle for me. Yeah. I agree with that. That's the best way to put it. I'm really curious to see where we're going to go on Raw tonight. There's a lot of different directions you can take things that weren't an option before. And really if they're going to do anything at all with Roman Reigns, they're really going to have to change some things up.
Yeah, they're going to have to, and also, clearly we're going to hear from Bray Wyatt, like, why Bray Wyatt? So we'll get another great promo from Bray Wyatt.
Of course.
Even though some people are growing tired of that. Hell, I'm not growing tired of it.
No, not at all.
The dude can talk for 3 hours just like Paul Heyman, and I'll enjoy the show.
Exactly. But yeah, that was Money in the Bank, and tomorrow we will be once again live for yet another Popcast. We're going to be talking WWE Monday Night Raw, and it will be right after the Dusty Rhodes special. We're going to be watching that, and then right after it ends, we're going to go live. We don't want to miss that at all.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a great suggestion, and why not celebrate the dream? I think it's going to be a very good emotional documentary. From what I read online, it's very similar to The Ultimate Warrior. I cried at that, and I almost cried tonight. And poor Renee Young was crying, but still doing her job on the kickoff show. We might be shedding some tears, but tears of joy though, tears of remembrance. If I said that right, that's a long word. Of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. So it'll be nice to celebrate the dream.
With the passing of Dusty and the passing of Christopher Lee this week, and I know this is a less extent thing, but it's still sad. The finale of Phineas and Ferb. I've known a lot of tears this week that haven't involved anything personal. So yeah, it's been a rough week, but yeah, obviously we move forward now, and everybody is in a much better place than they were. So yes, we will continue to remember their legacy without a doubt.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, can't wait.
So it's called Celebrating the Dream. It's on right after Raw. It says it's set up for 11:06, so hopefully we'll still be able to go live at 11:30. We'll see, maybe a little bit after. Okay. I'm sorry about the coughing. Like I said, I got something in my throat. My apologies. I tried my best to not let it affect things, so I'm sorry about that. But I will state right now that I've had a great time talking with Aaron tonight, and he will join me on Raw tomorrow. We may have a special guest on Raw, somebody that has also been a part of some podcasts lately, but that is to be announced. I can't guarantee anything. There may be somebody coming back that's been on a podcast before, and that's all I'm going to say because I don't know exactly if this person is able to make it or not. You guys can tune in tomorrow and find out if they are going to be a part of the Raw podcast. Ashley will not be a part of the Raw podcast because he is covering E3 right now, and you can check out his videos, his Sticks and Flicks segment on the SNS Radio Network. It's also going to be coming out here this week, and he's going to be doing those on the regular. And Gaming with Ash returns next Saturday. So we've got Raw tomorrow, And of course, we're going into Wednesday, which is NXT and Impact. I'm going to talk from the previous week. And Thursday, brand new Sip and Snack focusing on energy drinks. Friday, AJ's movie reviews. We'll be tackling the new releases of the week, so stay tuned for that. Gaming with Ash on Saturday, brand new Versus on Sunday. Special guest on that one, actually. First time ever for a Versus, and that will be Vigilante as your cryptic comment, and that will lead you into more Halloween Horror Nights news whenever we get some. And quick programming note to anyone that is a Horror Nights fan. I know there's a lot of you out there. There's a big overlap. The theme park community, the Horror Nights community, and the wrestling fan community. They all seem to, combine. Our powers combined. We are Captain Planet. And pretty much what I want to say is I'm going to be doing a podcast with First Class Horror. So that's coming up very soon, which will probably involve UKHHN, Neil, as well as John, Psychomassacre Films of the Horror Nights Updaters. More information when I get information on that. And we've got more Halloween Horror Nights Popcast coming at you. We did really well on the cast from last night, so check that out on this channel. Check out the other stuff on this channel, obviously Sip and Snack and Versus and the movie reviews. Check out the Horror Nights content. Check out Gaming with Ash and check out all the Popcasts, all the wrestling ones, even the Universal Orlando one, which really was super fun. And we got a lot still to come. So that being said, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. And once more, thank everyone that was a part of this live cast. And thank you if you're watching on archive. As always, Mr. Entertainment, read out your plethora of social media memes.
Well, I gave out one away earlier, which was the
yes.
Make it a little easier. So Instagram, same handle, Mr. Entertainment 92, and Mr. ENT 92 on Twitter, and Mr. Entertainment on Livestream, Vine, and Wrestling Amino.
Right on. And as always, you can check me out personally. My Twitter is at SirOwenDisney. Anybody that follows me knows I do follow Fridays, and I'm sure I like to spam your accounts with the follow Fridays, but
I just found out what the FF means. I always thought what that meant because I do hashtag follow Friday as well, but just self-promotion reason, I don't do the FF, actually spell it out. So this past Friday, I realized, oh, that's what the FF means. I always thought every Friday he just wanted to mention me. So
no, I put over people that you should be following on Twitter, my personal friends, people that I wish were my personal friends, even celebrities that really need to be followed on Twitter. I put over that, and companies, obviously, stuff like Surge and trying to get Ecto Cooler brought back.
Right.
So.
Oh yeah, no, it's great, and I and everybody should be thanking you for that. It's this association, partnership has just been absolutely wonderful.
Totally.
I'm very, very proud to be a podcaster.
Yes, and everyone, thank you guys and girls out there for watching. If you are on Facebook and you want to send a like our way on the Facebook fan page of Pop, it's under Sir Owen Disney Pop or Sir Owen Disney and Pop. And while you're at it, friend request me at Owen Disney, and you can send me an email if you'd like to. We can talk wrestling, Universal, Disney, Halloween Horror Nights. Want to ask me questions, trip questions, want to ask me personal questions, can't answer on here for good reason. Or if you'd like to become a Popcast yourself, and like I've been saying lately, if you are a theme park or wrestling podcast and you would like Sir Owen Disney a part of your show, then by all means, shoot me an email, sirowen@gmail.com. So in the meantime, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. Aaron, once again, thank you for joining me tonight. Ashley will be returning next week, and hopefully you had a good time tonight, Aaron.
Yes, absolutely. Every time had a good time, especially tonight. Whether the show is good or bad, it's always fun talking about it.
Totally agreed. That's the reason why I'm back to watching WWE again. So my sabbatical allowed me to really get the urge to watch it again. After WrestleMania, I decided I wanted to start doing these on the regular. I'm not doing videos by myself anymore. We're doing these podcasts, something we were trying to do a long time ago with the channel at the very beginning, and it just kind of fell through. But now it's working, and when it works, Google Hangouts is a godsend. So yes.
Yeah. When it is working.
The NXT takeover event in August, mark my words, you will get the full Popcast one way or another.
Oh yeah.
So once again, thank you guys and girls out there for watching. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.